What's the best advice you can give anyone? Leave it better than you found it, so that someone else can find it better than they left it. This is probably the most useful while also being the most simple one here. It applies to everything. Thanks, Carol. Ask for permission to give advice. People will be more likely to listen to you. Don't tell someone, "I understand." You don't, and it'll make the situation worse. "I can appreciate how you feel, stressful that is, etc." is much more useful. Be good. Or be good at it. Don't ever become a grumpy person who believes to know everything better than anyone. Never stop being curious and never stop learning. One big part of this is admitting that you are wrong, and changing your beliefs to fit truth instead of tradition. Or truth instead of in-crowd hive-mind feel-good idiocy. DN. That's me. Love yourself. I've seen way too many people with anxiety and self-esteem issues. And way too often. These are the same people who go out of their way to be dependable, reliable doormats for everyone else. It's not going to work. Or make you happy. There is nothing arrogant or bad about respecting and liking yourself. You are the only lifelong, loyal best friend you are ever guaranteed. And brush your teeth. This reminds me of a quote I think about a lot. And I'm definitely paraphrasing here. You can be the juiciest, tastiest, most perfect peach in the world, but there will always be someone who hates peaches. Quote. Disregard females. Acquire currency. Get off of social media. If you have a big decision to make, have AWK first. Don't let the little head do the thinking. Ah yes, post-nut clarity. The familiar gut punch of shame. Never moon at a werewolf. On a tangent. Is mooning a term outside the UK? Like exposing one's derriere? This too shall pass. Your life can change in an instant. Everything could shift to be worse. Or better. One moment you could be enjoying a movie. The next you're losing your father. One moment you could be homeless. The next you run into a long-lost friend and they help you find a place to stay and a job. Nothing stays the same for long. Change is inevitable. Be it good. Or bad. So my advice is to welcome change. Not resist it. Life really isn't fair. And while that doesn't mean we should give in and give up trying to make it more fair for everyone, you have to embrace how unfair it is. 2. Think before talking. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. What if I acknowledge my intellectual shortcomings and have a discussion with somebody smarter than me? That's okay as long as you don't throw your PP on him because he knows more words than you. Don't take advice from me. A large portion of your mental anguish is caused by an unrealistic belief that reality should be different than it actually is in reality. Like when you hear people say, "But if everyone would just," as if that's a realistic solution to anything. If human nature would just completely change overnight, and everyone did what I want them to do, this wouldn't be a problem. Quote. Sure, that's true enough. But it isn't a realistic solution to an actual problem. You might as well say, if it just wouldn't rain I wouldn't need an umbrella. Or, if my opponent just didn't try to win, I could win at chess every time. Quote. As the Buddhists would say, the root of suffering is desire. Yes. The version I heard is, unhappiness is when reality and our expectations don't match. Quote. A couple of years ago, I walked home crying, and I felt so alone. Suddenly I couldn't feel my arms anymore. And I panicked. I ended up scratching my arms until they bled because they were just totally numb. When I got home, I had puffy red eyes, a dead expression on my face, and had regained somewhat of feeling in my arms. My mom had just gotten home apparently and took out a few things from her car that she needed in the garden. She looked over at me, her 15-year-old daughter, for a second before shrugging and proceeding to get some work in the garden done. I cried myself to sleep that night. It took a heavy toll on me. But I finally realized she has been neglecting me for years. My advice? Sometimes it's the things you don't say that do the most damage. PL's parents of Reddit. Don't do this to your child. Don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe in everything you see. Believe nothing without proof. Trust, but verify. If you act confident enough, almost no one will question you. That's how I managed to spend a year in my friend's English class. St show once everyone caught on, but it was good for a while. Never, ever eat yellow snow. Don't listen to advice from Redditors. Ever. Including this. Okay. I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. So I won't listen to advice from Redditors. So I won't listen to this advice. So I will listen to advice from Redditors. So I will listen to this advice. Timeout exception thrown. Operation has timed out. Advised does not halt. Fatal error. Allowed memory size of 33,554,432 bytes exhausted. Wait. Write it down, read it again tomorrow, see how crazy it sounds? That means you've calmed down and are more able to think rationally. Now write it down again and think about both sides. Possible solutions. Roadblocks. Etc. Don't forget to take responsibility for being wrong. Don't sugarcoat it. Thank you. I am saying this because it reminded of the times I did that. It true, but I forgot about this. Thanks for reminding me to do Thar again. I had a guy tell me that anytime he gets an email that makes him angry or annoyed at the sender, he writes his response, then deletes it. Then he does it again. Then a third time. The fourth draft is usually pretty level-headed as he now has the frustration out of his system. So that usually gets sent. Great advice so long as you realize you're getting worked up. Do you think this would work for anxious thoughts? Reading them the next day when feeling better to show how irrational it all is? It's okay to give up sometimes. Whether it's on an unfruitful career path that you're burned out from, or a relationship that's grown toxic or isn't going anywhere. It's okay to call it quits and try something new if you think that's what's best for you. How you go about giving up on these things is another story. Get your finances in order and live on a budget and with a plan. I just wanted to comment on the awesome irony of this post getting gilded. Not saying it didn't deserve it. It's just funny. Ya know? As you were. Haha. That did not escape me. Sometimes it isn't worth it to argue, sometimes it's better to stop fighting. Especially on Reddit lol. That's not what I meant, but yeah. Them's fightin' words. If someone is in a bad mood, they're in a bad mood. If everyone seems like they're in a bad mood, you the one in a bad mood. It helps to self-analyze, especially in a place like work where you can be sensitive to things and not realize it. Or maybe you didn't have enough sleep. Move on. Question everything. Why? You deserve every upvote I can give you. Grasshopper. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. Run accordingly. Run with scissors and you could make it a brief jaunt. Never Jay-Z in a 30-year-old chick unless you want a kid. There's a good chance she's lying about being on the pill. Don't compare your life to others. I refer your life, your body, your job. There's a point in your 20s when you really become a fully functioning adult. It's okay to fire the friends that are boat anchors and drama magnets in your life so you can move on. In your experience, who does boat anchors compose of? People who have not come to the point of consistent self-improvement as a mindset. I have a friend that I play Xbox with. He often asks me for money for beer and other stuff. He's 21, so all in it's time. However, I'm at the point of my life where I need to focus and improve my lifestyle. Hanging out with the old me is an anchor. It's always easier to stay the same. Sometimes moving on just means boundaries. Sometimes moving on means cutting them off completely. Always clean your bathroom. It is dirtier than it looks. Material things will never provide long-term happiness, so don't assume they will. With that said, money will not buy happiness, but it does buy freedom. Get rid of any and all debt and save, invest your money. Don't fall into the capitalist rat race, instead use everyone else's stupidity to make more money via investments. If you do this and your child does this, your family tree will easily become that of multi-millionaires and you will have provided freedom. TLDR. Don't be a wage slave. Use all money to free yourself and your family. Edit. Certain index funds are great investments for people who know very little about investing. There are index funds that target anything and everything. AI, automation funds, real estate, restaurants, international, etc. No need to pay an advisor. Just invest in established and proven funds that average at least 10% annual ROI. The first half of the first sentence cannot be overstated. Spend your money on experiences, not on things. A shiny car is fun, but the novelty wears off fast. The newest TV is nice, but it will be obsoleted almost immediately. You'll never forget that amazing trip you took, or that time you went and did something fun and crazy with some friends. People overestimate what they can get done in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a week. Meaning, when you feel motivated, It's easy to overshoot your productivity for the day. When you don't complete everything you wanted, you become discouraged. But if you set a realistic goal for the day and remain that productive for days in a row, you can accomplish a lot more. People underestimate what they can do in a year is how I heard it. People underestimate what they can do in a year is how I heard it. Sometimes you need to push more than 12 months and then it gets hard. First time I decided to go to gym 2 to 3 times a week. And I did it for 9 months till I stopped. Last time I went to gym I managed to visit gym for 14 months. And what? My gym is on pause now. Because it is closed due coronavirus. Something like that. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.